what's up everybody? Just touching base with you, kind of let you know what's been going on over here. M1000 still working great. Set a personal best at a track I haven't been to in a few years by like almost 2 seconds. And I'm like 40 pounds heavier than I was back then. So definitely we got that bike dialed in. The power, everything on that bike is phenomenal. Was supposed to be at Barber this weekend for the Pan American Superbike race, but they got canceled unfortunately. Still am planning a trip out to Road Atlanta, so hoping to drop another PB there as well too. But just another little project that I kind of took on. Since then, should have probably shot the video earlier, but I didn't really think about it until later and trying to beat this sun. I have a new bike here, so a GSX-R. A GSX-8R. Got the silver one, got a great deal on it. Actually, it was kind of an impulse buy when I was at my daughter's volleyball tournament in San Antonio. But as you can see, I got it stripped down here, working out in the outside for right now because I got my other bike on the stand. But just doing the exhaust install. Of course, I'll have the intake mod, going with the Woolwich Flash and the Woolwich Auto Tune, so I can kind of get that dyno tune. Still going to be waiting on body work, and we're trying to get some suspension stuff figured out for K-Tech, because everybody else is kind of switching to the Gixxer 600 fronts with the triples and the forks and the wheel. I was okay probably purchasing the forks and the triple, but I didn't want to have to buy wheels, brakes, and everything else to convert the front. So I'm just going to kind of wait, work with my tuner, John Hutch at P1 Racing. I think he said he was going to be working with K-Tech to try to retrofit some kind of a cartridge in here. So we'll be pulling these shocks apart, or pulling the forks apart, and then kind of seeing what they have that may be able to be modified to fit. So that way we can run the standard front end. But I got pretty much a lot of parts here, but just kind of wait until I figure out the suspension stuff before I install the rest of it, or get the rest of it, because clip-ons will be coming. I do have a Brembo Master to put on there. Got the GB Racing covers already, Woodcraft rear sets. Also waiting on the Woodcraft bodywork because I prefer that over the hot bodies. It just has a better fit out the box. There's not going to be any cutting or anything to get it to fit because they actually, Armor Bodies or Woodcraft, they mold their bodywork really well. But once that kind of comes in, I get the suspension stuff done, and we'll work on trying to get this bike a little bit lighter. And from what I heard, there's a lot of weight to be saved with the fairing stay that's on the front of the bike. So just, getting a lighter weight fairing stay, will actually, it's under here actually, will kind of save a little bit of weight. The exhaust was actually really heavy. The stock exhaust, which is right here, it was pretty heavy, so I'll be weighing that a little bit later. But supposedly you're supposed to be able to save about 7 pounds or so, 7 to 10 pounds on the exhaust. Another 7 pounds getting the aftermarket subframe, which I'll be getting once I get the body work in, and then just trying to trim some weight down from some other places the best I can to get this bike to be a little bit more competitive with the Aprilia. But even with the extra weight, if you do the calculations, it does have more horsepower and torque to weight than the R7. So this is kind of like power to weight ratio, the second best bike in the class, once you get it flashed and tuned. But yeah, so that's what I got kind of going on with that over there. And yeah, just stay tuned for some more videos, man. Hey, what's up guys? Part 2 of the video today. Had a storm roll in like right when I was trying to get everything kind of tightened up on the exhaust. So I had to throw it in the garage, and then the garage is kind of tight because I got a couple other bikes in there that are taken apart right now. But was able to kind of come out this morning, get her finished up. As you can see, got the M4 full exhaust installed last night, fully tightened up this morning. Yeah, it's pretty tight in there, so just taking off, or just taking the bolts off of the radiator so you can kind of get to those 2 headers bolts in there, or 4 header bolts in there. that was definitely a must, because you're not gonna be able to do it without it. And I also had to just take off the fan, and there's about 4 of these little screws that hold that fan in, and then you can just kind of remove the fan. I honestly should have done it yesterday when I drained the cooling system, because I could have just taken the radiator off altogether. It would have made things so much easier, but I didn't think about it when I was replacing the coolant with water wetter. Didn't really think about that when I was doing it, because I did that first because I was like, it'll be the easiest. And if you don't have like a vacuum coolant pump or filler, that is definitely a must. If you guys, comment in the chat, I can send you a link or whatever for it on Amazon. I think I paid, I think it was roughly about $200, but it's really for anything with a coolant or radiator system. It's got a vacuum tester, so you can test to make sure you don't have any leaks, and then you can use an air compressor to kind of speed fill your radiator to take out all the air bubbles. I got it because on the BMW it's real finicky with the coolant system, and which is why your dealers normally don't like to mess with them, because it's hard to get all the air out of it, because there's really no drain bolt. You have to actually take off the pump housing and then drain, or the pump hose and then drain the coolant that way. Kind of the same thing on this one, or at least I didn't really see a drain bolt, so I just ended up pulling off the hose, and at that time I actually should have just installed the exhaust, but didn't think about it, so made the job a little bit longer. But finally got the exhaust put on. I also did like the emission systems delete. I did the block off plates, which are under there, you can see. So the TST block off plates. Also did the airbox mod. The TRT makes a kit for it with the short stack as well too. And then so did that last night, and yeah, let's go ahead and start it up. Service light always comes on. As you can see, this thing sounds mean. Oh my goodness. Yeah. This thing sounds nasty. Oh my goodness. This might be my favorite sounding bike, because it just sounds so mean. I can only imagine this thing just wrapped out down the straight. I know my neighbors are probably mad, so let me go ahead and cut that off. But they said it did make a little bit more power with the baffle. I did not have the baffle in right now because I just wanted to hear how it actually sound, but I think you get like another couple horsepower. A couple more horsepowers up on the top end with the baffle insert. I think they said it was a number 10 for M4, but I think you lose just a little bit on the torque. But I definitely will be running that, because I did want that extra horsepower, because with me being a bigger guy, I need every single pony I could get. But yeah, so let me know in the comments if you have any other questions. We're still, like I said, waiting on, doing something for the clip-ons and then switching the forks, because like I said, I don't want to switch the triple and run a 600 front, because then I have to get 600 wheels, 600 brakes, and all that. Not going to do it. So we're going to try to find something to modify these fork internals, and so that way they can accept a cartridge from K-Tech. So we'll be working with them, and like I said, John at P1 Racing down here in Houston to try to get that figured out. But yeah, there's a bike.